I'm Dana Denha, and you're watching FYI. The year of Ann Arbor's bicentennial has officially begun, with movers and shakers gathering at one of the city's landmarks to discuss the past and plans for the present. Watch.
This evening is the kickoff event for our year-long celebration for the city's 200th birthday. We're here inside Michigan Theater. We have a sold-out house this evening. People who are coming to celebrate their city.
This is a great city. I mean, it's seen it grow. There's so many things. There's great schools, great people, a rich tradition, rich history. Things that have been great in the past, things that are great moving forward, so much potential. It's ranked one of the best places to be for a reason.
Ann Arbor is such a free place. Like, you can be a free spirit, you can be free to do whatever you want here. So, I mean, it really is a great place to be like, and I hope that other places could be just like it too. And it's a safe space as well for a lot of people.
It's a special place because it has a family feel to it, an intimacy, a lot of people knowing each other, a lot of people who have been here, their families have been here for generations. It's a city that is easy to navigate, and we work together on community goals.
Whatever you want is here. If you want to go for a run, you have it. If you want to, float down the river, you can do that. You want to go play basketball? Great. You want to go check out something artsy? You come here.
This is a point in time in our history. If we miss it, we'll never get it back. 200 years is a great milestone for us, and it's important to take stock of where we've been and also to plot a course for where we want to go.
For more on Ann Arbor's 200th anniversary, visit a2bicentennial.org. Stay tuned, and we'll be back with more in exactly 30 seconds. Every day, we celebrate nations throughout the world with the food we eat, the clothes we wear, and the entertainment we enjoy. And now in Ann Arbor, you can get immersed in Chinese culture by signing up for classes at the Taiwan Center for Mandarin Learning.
Here we are cutting the ribbon and celebrating the grand opening of the Taiwan Center for Mandarin Language.
We want to establish in this Ann Arbor community as a best option if you want to know the traditional Mandarin culture.
It's impossible to miss the fact that Ann Arbor is already home to a large Taiwanese American population. We have a lot of Mandarin speakers here. But also, I think that as we look towards the future, Mandarin is such an important language internationally. It would give people who learn Mandarin so many tools and so many additional opportunities to communicate with people around the world, make connections.
We're hoping in that exchanging of ideas that we can synergize some sort of basically a new path for language learning.
Let's continue to build those connections between Taiwan and between Ann Arbor.
Spread the word.
The frigid temps have blown in, and to keep the home safe and its inhabitants, the Ann Arbor Fire Department has some tips in case of cold weather emergencies. Learn more in this month's City Roundup.
I'm Sydney Parmenter, the Emergency Management Coordinator with the City of Ann Arbor. Winter is well on its way here in Michigan, and while many look forward to winter festivities, it is equally important that we prepare for winter weather, which can include extreme cold temperatures, heavy snowfall, and accumulating ice, which can lead to hazardous traveling conditions and widespread power outages. Here are 3 things you can do to prepare yourself for winter weather. First, sign up to receive A2 emergency alerts by visiting www.washtenaw.org/alerts. Through the registration process, you can select to receive weather-related alerts via phone, text, and/or email. It is equally important that as a Washtenaw County resident, you are aware of the winter weather conditions and their protective actions. In addition to a watch, advisory, and warning, the county may issue a winter weather condition red or yellow. Under a winter weather condition yellow, motorists are encouraged not to drive. However, if you must, we ask that you take extreme caution and account for extended traveling times. Under snow condition red, we strongly encourage motorists not to drive. The second thing you can do to prepare is either create or review your household emergency plan. Your household emergency plan should include places to go to stay warm in the event of a power outage during extreme cold temperatures. This may include a family or friend or neighbor's home or a Washtenaw County warming center. To find a Washtenaw County warming center near you, please visit their website at www.washtenaw.org. And lastly, we strongly encourage that you create or update your household emergency kit and create one to keep in your vehicle. Some important materials to consider for your kit include a flashlight, a mobile phone charger, non-perishable food, bottled water, warm clothes, and extra blankets. For more information on how to build your kit, please visit www.ready.gov/kit. In closing, thank you for preparing yourself and your loved ones for winter weather.
Many of us have a tendency to hibernate in the winter, only being outside and walking to the car or into the house. But what if the right incentive got us outside to conquer the cold with the Ann Arbor Area Transportation Authority? This annual event gets locals outdoors, ride sharing, etc., to lessen the burden on Mother Nature during the cold months. Joining me is Lilliane Webb, Business Services Program Manager for the RIDE, or AAATA. Welcome to the show, Lilliane.
Thank you for having me.
Well, why don't you tell us a little bit about what Conquer the Cold is, if we haven't heard of it before?
Absolutely. Conquer the Cold is the winter commuting challenge brought to you by the Get Downtown program, which is a partnership between the RIDE, but also the Ann Arbor Downtown Development Authority and the City of Ann Arbor. And like you mentioned, it's an opportunity to remind folks that even though it is January, we kind of default to the weather we have been having that's pretty cold and dreary or snowy, that there's still some opportunities to get outside of a car, use a bike, walk around. So we like to remind people that that's still an opportunity, even though it's cold, and provide incentives in the form of prizes and camaraderie to do it.
Do you know when the program was started, the Conquer the Cold?
I don't know the exact year that it was started, but we have been doing it pre-pandemic, and it's not the first rodeo.
Oh, yeah, sure. Do you know why it was started? Was it really just started to get, like you said, get people, commuting, riding their bike, different things?
Yeah, there is a sister challenge that is in the warmer months, the commuter challenge now, but it also had origins as the curb your car month. And it's a lot easier in the springtime or when it's warm to say, okay, maybe I will walk. So the winter challenge has origins in just bringing that idea to whenever you need a little bit more incentive to even some of our diehard community who loves biking still finds it hard sometimes to get on a bike if it is January or February. So a little extra push for bragging rights or knowing that other people are also going to brave the cold and do it too is sometimes all that you need to have the motivation to get it done.
Yeah, I mean, in December, I think all of those options for commuting were totally available. We're in January now, and this is when, this year, 2024, is when winter really hit. We're all sort of, school was canceled. We've seen a lot of cancellations and stuff. So obviously, like today, you wouldn't go out and ride your bike. That you'd probably just slip right out of here. So what are some other things that people can do to get these points or and get the incentive to get the prizes?
Yeah, if you're getting around, we always want you to be safe. Conquer the cold doesn't mean, go out anytime for any reason just to get the points. It is if you are going out already to find a way to do it safely. And sometimes that's just putting on the right gear or adding the right amount of time, some extra minutes to your commute so you can take it slow. So for me, on a day like today, I might not. I can still use the bus, but I might, plan some extra minutes in case there's ice on the ground to make sure that I take the time to go and stand at a stop that's actually clear. And I know that the ride is really good about if you wave to the bus, you go stand in a clear spot, they'll know to look for you versus standing right at the bus stop like you would normally do.
Yeah, and I think that's a good thing to mention because it is the people that are near the bus stop that, like, if it's a business and you're by a bus stop, it's their responsibility to clear that off for people that are waiting for the bus too, because that's like a big deal. Like, you really need somewhere to stand when you're waiting for the bus.
Absolutely. We love folks who are resident and business owners who are really being proactive with cleaning their sidewalks and making sure they're clear and they're salt down really helps our community who wants to conquer the cold. It's always nice we can get them out and encourage them, but if the sidewalk isn't clear, that's a big barrier. So it takes all of us in order to help motivate our community to stay active during this time of year.
I also appreciate that you mention the way you dress, because that's a big deal when you're trying to wait for a bus or maybe you're waiting for your friend to come pick you up so you can drive together. If you have the right gear on, it's really much easier to conquer the cold.
Absolutely. We just had as part of Conquer the Cold, we partnered with Common Cycle, local bike group to put on a winter riding workshop. And they're actually going to be at our mixer that we're having on February 1st to also catch anyone who still has questions about winter riding on bicycles. For me, my hands are the first thing that gets cold. So I'm out as soon as my hand gets cold. That's done for me for any sort of cycling. But I do know that there are some recommended gear for your hands, some cool items that can help you keep going throughout the winter. So that's the type of thing that we want people to know about through Conquer the Cold.
When did this year start and when does it end?
Yeah, so we are doing January 15th through February 15th this year. So you can sign up anytime through February 15th. You can log any commutes that you took, any trips that you took without using a car, even before you signed up. But you have until February 15th to let us know that you've been conquering the cold, and we'd love to give you some points and some credit for being one of our community members who's helping motivate everyone else to get out of your driving alone. Carpooling counts too.
So do you register online? You have a profile or something, and then you add, you're like, I carpooled today, I rode my bike today, I walked, and then that just is like a point a piece. How does that work?
Absolutely. So the best resource, so we try and make it easy for you, is www.conquerthecold.org. And that website has our step-by-step instructions on how to sign up to log your trips. And most trips are going to be worth 2 points. Teleworking is worth 1 point just because it's a little less active, but we do allow you to have a point for that. And there are a couple prizes for the folks who get the most points. The top 3 point getters get our bigger prizes, but there's a lot of smaller prizes that are available for people who just do up to 5 points. So only a couple trips are needed in order to walk away with something for conquering the cold.
And what is that, like a raffle situation?
So we do have a couple of raffles, but the small prize is it's a little mini flashlight. So help you be visible during these darker days. It's a pretty cool one, I think. It works as a flashlight and it can just be turned on as a little like glow stick type item that you can stick on your coat. So if you're biking or walking or somebody's picking you up to carpool, they can easily see you.
That is a great thing to have in your arsenal because I tell you what, if I'm driving at night and someone's walking or riding their bike and and everyone always seems to be in dark clothes when they're doing this at night. They're walking their dog and they're in a dark outfit. I'm like, oh my God, I'm so scared I'm going to hit somebody because it's so dark outside and then you're wearing dark clothes. And I'm even conscious of it myself because I have like a dark coat. And then I'll go walk out at night and I'm like, I need to stay on the sidewalk because I'm afraid nobody can see me right now. So having a flashlight is huge. It's a great gift.
Absolutely. It's both fun and functional for that exact reason. A lot of us have those big black winter coats. I don't know if you've ever been to an event where you've got the coats hanging up and you're like, which black coat is mine?
Oh yeah,
you
they're
can put
like
your
the
little
hottest thing. All the students have them. So what is the retro twist this year? You guys are boasting a retro twist.
Yeah, we're excited to participate in the Bicentennial celebration. We know Ann Arbor is currently in the middle of celebrating Ypsilanti, another community area of the ride, also just celebrated the Bicentennial. So we just are asking folks to think back to the past. The blast from past may be different for each person. We're not going to necessarily ask you to tell us which year it was for you, but we all used to get around without having a driver's license, and we had a great time carpooling with our friends. We biked places, we probably walked some places. And so one of the ways we can participate and conquer the cold besides vlogging the trip is sharing those stories on social media, those photos of you with your first bike, or a recollection or memory of riding your bike over to Fuller Park or taking the ride somewhere. We'd love to hear those. And that's another opportunity if you tag at Get Downtown on Facebook or Instagram, and we're able to see that, we'll enter you into a raffle for one of our gift cards from one of our downtown Ann Arbor partners, which we're really excited that businesses were willing to provide some gift cards to help motivate people as well.
What a fun idea. You know, I didn't grow up in Ann Arbor. I moved here after college, but my husband is a townie and he's always talking about like when he was a teen and he would ride his bike or walk a really far walk to get downtown to hang out with his friends. And I think like people from the town love hearing these stories. And then they start talking about old places that used to exist. It really brings back a lot of memories. I think that's a lot of fun for your online presence, for your social media.
Yeah, we're really looking forward to hearing folks' stories. We do have a lot of people who enter our community and are new to it. So there are opportunities still to just talk about your first bike. It doesn't have to be what happened here in Ann Arbor, but I think for us, we definitely just want to remember that we all became grown-ups at some point, and a lot of us started driving once we got our driver's license. But it's really fun to use our bikes, and maybe that's another reason to, even though it's a little colder and it's a little darker, to get your new flashlight and bike to the coffee shop instead of hopping in the car.
I will say I didn't have a bike as an adult until the pandemic. And then I was like, getting back on the bike is so much fun. It's like you're a kid again. It's so fun. And I got one of those trailers for my young son. My daughter can ride a two-wheeler now, and the whole family goes on rides. It's a blast. It's not just about commuting. It's really a fun activity to do.
Yeah, we know that especially in the wintertime, people maybe aren't as, not everybody needs to go to work. If you can telework on a day where it's icy, please do. But if you do have an errand that you need to run, we also want you to think about, is this an errand that I need a car for? Is this an errand that I can use the bus, or just bundle up and walk? And so we definitely want to encourage folks for the Conquer the Cold Challenge, not to just limit it to their commutes, but to limit it to their trips around Ann Arbor that are maybe accessible by bus or walking.
Well, and that is a huge benefit to living in Washtenaw County is I grew up in Sterling Heights and there's no real great bus system there. So when we were kids, it was either your parents drove you, you rode your bike, or you walked. There was no busing situation. And I think that's a pretty amazing thing that you can basically take a bus anywhere in this area. And if you are younger, but you're old enough to go out, so like you're a 14-year-old and you want to go hang out with your friends, you can take the bus to downtown and hang out with your friends, and you don't need your parents to take you. Like, these are really amazing things about living in Washtenaw County.
Totally agree. And A little known fact about transportation in Washtenaw County is that we do have access to a van pooling service as well. So that one is a little bit more exclusive to work trips, just because of how often it's traveling. But for folks who know that they need to get maybe from Manchester to Ann Arbor on a 5-day-a-week basis, looking into the van ride service is really a great opportunity to, again, you might not be able to do the whole ride by bus or walking, but there are still opportunities for you. And so we've got a couple of those options listed on our website, the conquerthecold.org website, so that it might be worth looking, even if you think that this type of program wouldn't apply to you just because of where you live. We also have park and ride lots as well, where if you can at least get to the park and ride lot outside of the city of Ann Arbor, there's quite a few. You can just park for free and take the bus on in after that.
Are there any eligibility requirements for conquering the cold?
Great question. Just broadly defined member of our community. So know your cousin in Florida who sees your social post and wants to participate would not be eligible. But if you're a Washtenaw County resident who's coming to the Ann Arbor or Ypsilanti area, we'd love to have you log your commute and participate with us.
All right, before we go, why should people conquer the cold this year? Like you said, they can start, there's plenty of time to do it still, and they can start at any point.
Absolutely. I think one of the main reasons that we see people conquering the cold, we talk a lot about fun. That's the whole retro feel to it, is just to make it fun and remind people of that joy. But there's a lot of practical reasons as well. One is saving money. That's a huge one. If you're not driving your own vehicle around, whether it's carpooling or using the bus, you're going to save on those miles that you're not traveling and maintenance on your car. But also for some people, they choose active transportation modes because of health reasons. It's that time of the year where folks have health goals and maybe you don't have a lot of time to get to the gym. Maybe just walking an extra mile, parking your car and walking an extra mile is a way to fit some extra activity into your day. So there's a lot of really good reasons that work for conquering the cold. I think fun is the number one reason, but if you have some other personal goals, there's a pretty good chance that conquering the cold fits well into your financial health, even just mindfulness goals when you're on the bus, to zone out and not have to pay attention to the car in front of you because you have a professional driver who's worried about that.
Well, I want to thank you so much for telling us about this year's Conquering the Cold. I hope everyone can start logging their commutes in any way that they can. And a great option is that when you're working from home, you get a point for that too. And I think a lot of us are working from home on days like today.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
For more on this and other programs, visit a2gov.org/CTN. Visit youtube.com/CTN Ann Arbor to see all that we have to offer. And remember to like, subscribe, and ring that notification. Thanks for watching, and tune in next time to FYI.